Hey, everybody. Well, I just finished editing an interview I had with a gentleman named Ethan Lucas, who is the founder and CEO of Syrona. And that's the company that's helping me heal my arm. Speaking of which, here's my current update. So, as you can see, it's slowly fading into my normal skin color. But I wanted to follow up my last video about this incredible metamorphosis that's happening on my skin condition that I've had for 30 years because of this man's products. Literally, I tried every homeopathic option that was known to man, including ones I won't even tell you about, and nothing worked until I used these products. And so that's why I've decided to support his efforts. And so I've just finished editing the interview I had with Ethan about 10 days ago. And it was a great time. It was a great talk. I asked him a little bit about his background. I wanted to know how sort of Syrona came about, where the idea came from, and a little bit of his history as far as education is concerned. And we had a good conversation. And wow, what he talked about was really incredible. I'm looking forward to you guys hearing what he had to say. To begin though, tell me a little bit about your background, a little bit about your history, how you got into this, how you got into Sirona, how you got into naturopath, just a basic general idea of how this all started for you.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I would think I was born with a bottle of supplements in my hand because my grandfather was a nutritionist. And so I basically, was already mentoring in the natural health world with him. He was just always preaching about natural health and nutrition. And I wasn't really thinking I was going to take a life path of getting into nutrition or natural health. And of course I became a naturopath, but and I'm an active, practicing naturopath as well as being the CEO and founder of Syrona. Finally got to the point where I was ready to take the education to another level. I had gone to Ohio State as my undergrad was psychology. Obviously, did not become a counselor or a therapist. Didn't want to sit for 10 hours at a time listening to other people's issues and blow my brains out someday. Like it's no joke. Like
It's
we laugh
true.
about it, but it's serious. Like it's one of the highest suicide rates for careers is being a counselor or therapist. But so I didn't go that path, but I'm actually glad I studied psychology as my undergrad because it was actually more beneficial, I think, for a lot of things in life. But then I started mentoring with some naturopathic doctors and even an Amazonian shaman. I'm mentored with two separate naturopathic doctors in Ohio, 5 years each. And then I spent another 5 years mentoring with the Amazonian shaman. I took a lot of courses in grad school and stuff for naturopathy. I never really felt the need to go get an institutionalized degree that said, "Hey, congratulations, you're a naturopath," because I'd already been, doing what is probably the better thing you can do anyway, which is doing real life residency mentoring with real doctors. In fact, the one naturopath, he was a medical doctor. He finally just gave up his medical license. He literally burnt his degree and his medical license and would laugh about it. Became a naturopath. The one thing I couldn't do for the longest time was nano size things because I didn't have the multi-million-dollar lab and the know-how and the experience. It takes a team of scientists to do it. So up until that point, I stuck with the custom made herbal tinctures and supplements that I was making that I had learned how to do from not only the naturopathic doctor I mentored with the one that I mentored with for 5 years, but then also the Amazonian shaman, a lot
Yeah.
of plant medicine and that stuff. Right. So I learned it's, huge background and really real hands-on, real life, just learning how to do this stuff. And of course, I've taken tons of biochemistry courses. I read biochemistry books for fun sometimes. I know that's really boring to other people, but yeah. So my background and my education is pretty non-traditional, but now we're in the nano world and we're making nano-sized glutathione, which is really important, nano-sized B12, D3, a bunch of other herbs, vitamins, and minerals and stuff like that. And before I was able to do that, I actually found another nano company that was making nanoglutathione. It was good, but it was water-based. So, water-based glutathione isn't as stable as what we're doing now. With our stasis nanotechnology, that's kind of the best way to explain it is a nano emulsion of water and oil. They always say you can't mix water and oil, right? Well, we
Yeah.
figured out how to do it, because once you get down to small enough level, and nano is 1,000 times smaller than a micron. Once you get down to a small enough level, all of a sudden, turns out water and oil does mix. It's kind of like when you go into the quantum
Mhm.
realm, all of a
Yes.
sudden the lines get blurred between particles and waves, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of where we went with that, and that's how we were able to pull off stuff with Syrona. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it that it's been kind of maverick, just autodidact, maverick
yep,
approach, and pulling from different sources, because there is good information in Western medicine as well as shamanistic medicine. They
yeah,
they,
there is.
they both have disciplines, aspects that can be used for human health. So it's great. You got
Hmm.
both. Oftentimes you talk to folks and they're just on the nature path or just on the Western
Right.
medicine, but really the holistic approach is both, because both have
Yeah.
viability in certain ways.
Yeah. Well,
So
and probably the best thing for me was the fact that I spent 5 years mentoring with a naturopathic practitioner who was a medical doctor, got the degree, went through med school, did his residency in a hospital, went the traditional route, right? Got the medical license, all of it. And he ended up burning it all to the ground and doing naturopathy. And so I got all of his knowledge in that 5 years of what's important from allopathic medicine, what medical doctors do, and also on top of that, all of his naturopathic knowledge, plus the 5 years of mentoring with the other naturopathic doctor, and then 5 years mentoring. And these were all separate time periods. It was 15 years total.
wow, wow.
And then 5 years mentoring with the Amazonian shaman out in Hawaii. And I learned a lot about the real old school stuff, plant
Yeah,
medicine that they do in
yeah,
the Amazon. So,
yeah.
and a lot of people don't know this, but the big pharmaceutical companies actually go down to the Amazon, and they try to steal information from the tribes, the local tribes there, on what plants and what things they're doing, what plants they're using, and the things that they're doing, the way they prepare things in order to treat certain illnesses or diseases or whatever. And what's happened is a lot of these pharmaceutical companies they've taken that information, and then they'll take those plants where those elements come from.
Mm.
They'll isolate the elements in the plant, and then they do something to it that makes it to where they can patent it, and then they stick it in a pill, and now all of a sudden you're watching commercials on TV telling you to take this pill. And since they've removed it from its natural holistic environment and completely altered the state of it, this is why it causes bad side effects, right? But if you do it in harmony with nature, the way the shamans in the Amazon do, you don't have those bad side effects.
Exactly. And is that
Yeah.
is that kind of how Syrona came about? I mean, finding a way to deliver the goods, but in a way that's effective without bad side effects. I mean, is that kind of how Syrona came about, or if you want to
Well,
go
that's
through that?
definitely a core philosophy that I have, and as the CEO and founder of Syrona, that was definitely, on the forefront of my mind as we were doing all of it. But what had ended up happening is, while I was actually promoting this other nanoglutathione that's water based with another company, I had actually ran into a scientist, and he was part of an operation. He had other scientists he had partnered with, and they were doing things in the nano world with their lab. And so we became friends. We started talking. Eventually, to make a long story short, this happened over a long period of time. This has taken years, but eventually we ended up in a place where I'm actually partnering with them, and we're creating custom proprietary formulas together. In fact, the our flagship product, the Elixir product, that's nano-sized glutathione, nano B12, and nano D3, that particular formula came to me in a download in meditation. And when I originally went to my scientist partners at the lab and said, we need to make this is what I saw, and wrote it all out and explained all of it and everything. And at first they're like, that's not going to work, we can't do that. And I kept pushing them and pushing them to try. And of course, anything you try in a lab, the clock is ticking, the dollars are pouring out because everything costs a lot of money, right? So it was a big risk even for them to agree to try this with me. And then once that they saw that it was working and the effects that we were getting from it, it was just like, okay, we got to go all in on this. And so that's really what formed Syrona. It was this partnership with the scientists and the lab and everything. And of course, I had to buy into a big portion of it to support it. And then because it pulls them also away from doing other operations and other things that they're doing. So, that's, I guess, yeah, the short version of how it kind of all came to be.
How does it, I mean, folks probably wonder, I certainly do, the biomechanics. Like, why is glutathione such a good thing to ingest, such a good thing to put on your skin? What does it do? What does it biochemically do in the body, and why is it viable? Why is it healing my skin? Why is it working and nothing else did?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, with your stuff, and I don't even remember what you said the name of your condition was or what caused it.
I don't know. I found out when I was 25. I'm 54 now, and I've forgotten the name. It was some long yeast that they
Okay.
found in the biopsy, and I just can't remember the name of it. But it grows on my skin. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to kind of, we'll start there with that because you mentioned that
Yeah.
we never set out. We didn't try to create a product to do anything specific, right? And this is the cool thing about all of the natural things in the body, especially glutathione. Glutathione is actually called the master antioxidant of the body. Scientists and doctors worldwide have called it that for, it's been over 100 years now since its discovery, because it neutralizes free radicals, it detoxes the body, it's a main factor in immune function and support. It regenerates other antioxidants in the body, right? And so, and it's not just, with your, you're using the skin spray, this stuff right here. And of course, you're taking the elixir, which is our flagship product, which I've been talking about now.
Introducing Skin by Syrona. It's not just any skincare product, it's powered by our revolutionary and proprietary Stasis nanotechnology. Thanks to this proprietary technology, every nutrient in skin is a true nano-sized particle. We're talking about nano-sized glutathione, hyaluronic acid, collagen, vitamin B5, and resveratrol. No one has ever put together such a potent and powerful fountain of youth in a bottle like this before. Imagine spraying youth directly onto your face, neck, arms, and hands every single day and watching the clock go backwards. The before and after results are stunning, which often results in even doctors swearing that these results are from surgery, but they are not. It is simply the result of infusing the skin with true nano-sized nutrients, which are depleted day after day, year after year, decade after decade, which inevitably leads to what we call aging.
But the skin spray, it's all nano-sized, but it has glutathione, B3, collagen, hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, and resveratrol.
Okay.
And again, all of it nano-sized. And I think that's really the secret to all of it. It's just the unique combination of it and what it's doing. We didn't set out to say, hey, this is going to cure skin conditions. In fact, we don't make any medical claims. We don't claim that our stuff will cure, treat, or prevent any disease.
Yeah.
And of course, as a naturopath, I'm of the mindset that what they call a disease is really just symptoms of the body is showing you that there's an underlying root problem, right?
Yeah.
To me, and this is a controversial statement. Most medical doctors would, laugh me out the door for this. And I don't care because I know I'm right about this and I have my reasons for saying it. It's probably because of their indoctrination and their limited perspective that they don't agree with this. But there's no such thing as a disease. There's dis-ease, right? Your body experiences dis-ease, but there's no such thing as a disease the way they traditionally try to define it and make us think of it, right? Like it's like some woo-woo boogeyman thing that just gets you. Like anybody can just catch any disease at any time. That's not how the body works, right? So number one, we don't make any medical claims and we don't claim to treat, cure, or prevent any disease with anything anyway. It's your body itself that actually cures anything that may be wrong with it, that heals itself, but it has to have the building blocks to do so. Just like a builder, a construction company, they have to have the raw materials and they have to have the workers that are healthy and know how to do the job. And they're young and vibrant and strong, right? To actually build something. I mean, truth be told, in the nutraceutical world, most supplements are made using chemical or heat extraction to get whatever the vitamins or minerals or herbs that are in those capsules, or even if it's a liquid or a powder or whatever. They use heat or chemical extraction to do that. And in doing so, it destroys the nutritive value of the supplement. And so there's really not much, if any, bioavailability to it whatsoever. It's not really doing anything for you. So you look on the label on the bottle and it says, 1,000% of your daily value of this or whatever it is, doesn't matter. And that may be true. That may be what was put into the capsule or the tablet or the powder, but it's not actually what we call bioavailable, which is kind of a generic term, meaning your body can't use it. It's not useful. Either it's what we would call dead nutrition, right? Because it's been processed with heat and chemical extraction.
Yes.
The nutritive value has been destroyed, or it's just not usable by the body. Your body can't absorb it and can't use it. Of course, nanosizing things solves that problem, which is one of the reasons why we do it. But so if you're not getting the stuff your body needs to rebuild and repair itself, you're naturally going to start developing what they call diseases in the allopathic world, which again, to me, it's not a disease. It's just like if you have a house and you don't take care of it, you don't clean it, you don't do maintenance on it, that's not, the house doesn't have a disease. Right. It's you not doing the maintenance and the cleanup, right? Well, it's the same thing with your body. Your body's your house. And if you don't do the normal maintenance and the cleanup on it, you're going to start having problems with it, right? Yeah. And so circling back to glutathione and specifically why that, out of all these things that you can take, it is hands down the most important. It's actually a peptide, a tripeptide to be specific. And it's a chain of amino acids, but because it's a chain of amino acids, it's very fragile and like a chain with weak links, it'll break apart easily, but it's very powerful in what it does. And so the reason why we nanosize it and make it to where you put it in your mouth, you hold it, you swish it around, hold it, 60 to 90 seconds. The good thing about ours, the elixir, is it tastes like fruit punch.
It does.
Yeah. And so it's literally like liquid candy, but you're putting super potent stuff in your body when you do it. And since it's nano size, that just means nano isn't something bad. I know a lot of people are used to hearing nanobots in the conspiracy world, but they're called nanobots because of their size. Nano is just a size. If they were the size of a micron, they would be called microbots, but they're not. They're nanobots because they're nano sized, right? Well, all we're doing is taking the glutathione and the B12, the D3, all the things that we nanosize, and we just shrink it down literally to smaller than a micron, so it's nano-sized. And by doing that, it absorbs sublingually in the mouth, under the tongue, and through the gums, directly into the bloodstream. It's instant absorption.
What is elixir, and what's the secret behind it? Picture a team of the world's most brilliant scientists working tirelessly with patented and proprietary technology and techniques to create groundbreaking nano-formulas that bypass your digestive tract entirely, absorbing directly into the body, sublingually, under the tongue. The hero of the elixir formula is nano-sized glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. And because glutathione is highly unstable, if swallowed, it will simply be destroyed in the stomach acids. And liposomal glutathione doesn't solve the issue either, as it's mostly unusable and does not get absorbed properly. Simply put, glutathione in capsule form, or even water-based formulas, are not as stable or bioavailable as our proprietary nano formula. And because we have nano-sized glutathione as well as other nutrients, they are so small, they slip right into the cells with virtually no resistance, completely bypassing the hostile environment in the stomach and gut. Imagine boosting your immune system to peak levels, reversing the clock on aging, and detoxifying your body from heavy metals, microplastics, and those pesky forever chemicals. Elixir even tackles bad halides like fluoride, bromide, and chlorine. Health is actually quite simple. Clean the cell, get well.
And because we have stabilized it in a quasi water oil base at the nano level, it's highly stable. It has a true 2-year shelf life, whereas water-based glutathione, for example, it breaks down very quickly when it's exposed to light, when it's exposed to oxygen, because it's an antioxidant, right? So an antioxidant meets oxygen, what happens? They cancel each other out. Positive, negative meet each other, they cancel each other out, right?
Yeah.
So it's very unstable. This is why if you go to a clinic to get glutathione, which is in highly purified water, they have to keep it at super, super cold temperatures. Otherwise, the glutathione is useless. In fact, one of the scientists that works in our lab, he used to own some pharmaceutical companies, and they would actually make water-based glutathione for the clinics to give the intravenous glutathione at the clinics, right? And if that water-based glutathione they made, even storing it at the proper super cold temperatures, if it was older than a day before it went to the clinic, they would throw it out, because that's how unstable it is, right? Now imagine what it does in the stomach acids, and there's all these companies out there making water-based glutathione, making claims that it's stable and it's good, it's potent, it's breaking down super fast. The minute you open it, the minute it's exposed to oxygen and light, or if it's not kept at the right temperature, it begins to break down very rapidly. Ours does not have that problem. And this is, again, is why people would go to clinics and get the IV, because before this kind of nano-sizing technology, to where you could get it straight into the bloodstream sublingually in the mouth instead of sticking a needle in the arm to get it in the bloodstream. That was the only way to do it, was to go to the clinic and have them stick a needle in your arm. It's $200-300 a pop. It only lasts for, maybe an hour or two.
With Elixir, you're not just supporting your health, you're revolutionizing it. Getting vital nutrients directly into the bloodstream with immediate absorption, all without having to spend thousands of dollars a month on clinical IVs. It's because of our proprietary stasis nanotechnology and methods that glutathione and other nutrients are absorbed easily and immediately by holding just a few drops of Elixir under the tongue for 30 seconds or more. Using the same technology and methods, we also created the holy grail of skincare products. Our scientists, using our proprietary nano process, have found a way to make a highly potent, highly absorbable combination of hyaluronic acid, collagen, resveratrol, glutathione, and vitamin B5, creating the world's most unique, proprietary formula, giving before and after results that have some people claiming that we've literally discovered the fountain of youth.
It depends on what you read and the scenario and all this, but the half-life of glutathione roughly in the body is about 90 minutes. And so, you pay $300 for 90 minutes worth of glutathione and you're done.
Yeah.
And you got to go back and get another needle in your arm, right? So that's why ours is so amazing, because not only is it way more affordable, it's like having a glutathione IV in your pocket or your purse all the time. You can just take it all day long. You can't overdose on it.
Right.
The body just puts off what it doesn't need, and the glutathione, of course, just naturally breaks down back into the amino acids that make up that chain, right? And
what are other, like, it's really helped me and Jenny, my wife, with our skin issues, just all that stuff. What are some other diseases, issues, concerns that you found from testimonies and your experience that people have benefited? Like, how else have they used the product besides for the skin?
Well, it's a well-known fact, even amongst Ivy League doctors, who some of them even run glutathione clinics, and they'll have people come in to treat Parkinson's. And so again, just, for the record, I'm not making any medical claims. I'm just saying what's already out there, what's being done. Yes. Medical doctors out there are treating their Parkinson's patients with glutathione IVs. This is one example. Now you can imagine that's an issue with the brain. Well, that's not the only issue we have with the brain. So without me making any medical claims, you can connect the dots, if you're smart enough, what you can do with glutathione in the brain. That's one example, right? I have people specifically in our Panacea product. That's this one right here. It's designed mostly as, you're trying to get as much MCT oil in the body as possible, which is why you take much more of it. Now,
unleash your full potential with Panacea, a nano-glutathione and collagen-infused MCT oil supplement. Athletes, bodybuilders, and health enthusiasts, it's time to revolutionize your performance. Our proprietary stasis nanotechnology is what elevates Panacea a million miles above the other MCT oil supplements on the market. Our nanoglutathione boosts your immunity, detoxes and speeds up recovery, while the nanocollagen strengthens joints and enhances muscle growth. And since it's all nano-sized, it bypasses the hostile digestive tract and goes straight into the bloodstream, sublingually in the mouth. It's true instant absorption. Also, let's not forget about the amazing MCT oil, your new best friend for sustained energy, gut health, and fat-burning power, as well as a whole host of other health benefits. So it's not just for athletes and bodybuilders. The overall powerful health support will benefit anyone. Combined in one powerful, great-tasting shot, this supplement is your secret weapon for peak performance, endurance, efficiency, and faster recovery. Easy to take and quick to feel the difference. Don't just train harder, train smarter with our nanoglutathione and collagen-infused MCT oil. Panacea, your body will thank you.
The elixir is also an MCT oil base, but you're only taking a dropper full of it. But with the Panacea, it's designed really to be an MCT supplement, because there's a lot of athletes and bodybuilders out there and people just trying to lose weight that's what they'll do. They'll literally just drink straight MCT oil, right? Nothing else in it. And it's good because it's an appetite suppressant. It's good for the gut. It's good for the brain. It's good for sustained energy and endurance. That's why they take it. Well, we had the idea where we're like, well, we got all this MCT oil we're making the elixir with. Why not make an actual MCT supplement and then infuse it with nanoglutathione and nanocollagen, the two things that athletes and bodybuilders need the most? And also people who are taking MCT oil for the gut, you really need the glutathione and the collagen. In fact, a lot of people don't realize this, but what they call leaky gut syndrome, one of the biggest parts of that problem is not having enough collagen to repair the gut as needed. And those two things, glutathione and collagen, and there's other things, but those two things specifically are two of the most important things that the body naturally makes. But as we age, it makes less and less and less every year. I'm 45 years old. You're literally looking at the use of nano-sized glutathione and some other things, but it's mostly glutathione over about a 3-year period on a 45-year-old person, right? And it's taken 15 years off of my face using the skin spray, using the oral, right? And of course, the skin spray has the nano collagen in it. And so if you want the nano collagen internally, you drink the Panacea. And so glutathione and collagen both are being produced less and less every year. By the time you're my age, like my body right now at 45 is producing about half of the glutathione it used to when I was a kid. Okay. It's roughly about the same for collagen, not exactly, but in the same ballpark, right? So you can see the problem we have. Everything in your body almost needs collagen to exist. Everything in your mouth, your gums, your every cell in your body, everything in your gut, all your organs, even your brain. I mean, so that's how important it is. And your body's making less and less and less, not just glutathione, but collagen every year too, right?
And
so that's why the Panacea is so important, because you're putting back into the body. Let's circle back around to that analogy I gave of construction builders, right? So your body is like that. And it can, as long as it has the raw materials it needs and it has the workers in the body to put those raw materials to use in the way it needs to repair damage from oxidative stress and inflammation and all these other things, and just natural wear and tear. As long as it has the raw materials to do it and the body's healthy enough to complete the task and it's not too old, it'll do it perfectly. This is why you don't, go through any obvious aging process when you're younger, right? Really the aging thing, and glutathione is known as an anti-aging agent, not just slowing it down, but literally stopping and reversing it. Okay.
So really, Syrona is all about, and every product you carry is basically about facilitating the body so that the body can heal itself. Basically bringing in the best materials, the best possible construction, the basic raw materials, and then offering that to the body, saying, here you go, here's everything you need. And then the body itself actually does
the work. It's just like if you're a contractor, you're building a house. Well, you can have all the best, youngest, healthiest, fastest, most skilled construction workers in the world sitting on the job site ready to go at 7 a.m. every morning. And if they run out of materials, everything stops,
Yeah,
right?
it stops. Yes.
Okay, and then the way if it stops long enough, then the elements, the weather starts to break down what they've already built, right?
Yes.
This is what's
Yeah.
happening with your body.
Right.
Let's do the reverse. Let's say you got all the materials in the world delivered to the job site,
Yeah.
but you don't have workers showing up to work. What's
Mm.
going to happen? Same
Right.
thing. So
Yeah.
you need both. And so this is why we age. This is why we get sick. This is why those things that doctors call diseases pop up. It's not a disease. People can hate me and say, well, I'm technically inaccurate or incorrect about that all they want. I don't give a damn. This is all about word magic and spell casting and how you decide to define words. I'm saying that what you're experiencing with these things are nothing more than symptoms of the body not having the proper raw materials and the healthy workers within the body to use those raw materials to keep this house that we all live in, where you are spirit, you have a soul, you live in a body, and your body is your house, and to keep this house in order and keep it looking as nice and new and operating as efficiently and as well as it possibly can. And so that's what we set out to do when we're like, okay, let's take the most important thing that the body has, which is glutathione. I think the second most important thing is collagen. We took both of those, but the most important thing is the glutathione. And let's nanosize it, let's stabilize it, let's make it as potent as we possibly can, and make it as affordable as we possibly can, make it as clean and pure and organic, non-GMO, all that stuff, make it as good as we possibly can, make it taste really good, and make it super effective. And then after you pass all those challenges, then you got to make sure that it's actually effective and working in the body. And we cleared all of those hurdles. In fact, we'll release it soon. We're not ready to yet, but we will release. There's actually a white paper out there done by a third party of scientists who proved, and it's on PubMed. If you know what you're looking for, you can actually find this study that was done on our specific formula that proved that our glutathione product actually increased the glutathione in the body of the participants, and the people in the placebo group did not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is the future of Syrona? Like you say you're coming out, and I've heard you say many times you're coming out with a bunch more products this year and next year. You're going to continue to grow. Where are you guys growing? What are you going to bring forward? What are you working on right now?
Well, the next two products that are coming out, we're going to have a heart product called Cardia. And then we're going to have, it's a bunch of nano-sized stuff like resveratrol, CoQ10, and nitric oxide and things like that. Okay. And then we've got a sleep product called Somnia. And it's so instead of insomnia, it's the opposite, which is insomnia is you can't sleep, right? Well, somnia is sleep. Actually, somnia, I believe, is the Greek. We get that from the Greek god of sleep or something like that. One of those, mythological gods is where we get that word from. But so it's called Somnia. It's going to have things like all nanosides, of course, valerian root and melatonin and things like that.
That's exciting.
So that's two examples of things that are coming out later this year, actually. And then we've got stuff coming next year, like nano-size redox. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with ASEA redox, and we actually, ASEA said that no one's going to figure out their formula and how to make it. We cracked the code on it in our lab. We actually figured out how to make chemically identical redox. We're the only ones that I know of so far that has figured it out. So ASEA is not going to have a monopoly on redox anymore. So we're bringing it out, and we're going to make it better because we're going to nano-size it.
That's real exciting, Ethan. Those are that sounds like some amazing products you're coming out with, especially the heart and the sleep. I mean, those are the two biggest things in America, well, the world for that matter. Nobody can sleep, and a lot of people have heart problems.
Yeah.
So
well, and of course, we're set up as a PMA, and people can, if you've ordered anything from us, you're automatically entered as you become a member of the PMA. You can't do anything with us without being a member of the PMA. But once you're a member of the PMA, then you can schedule health consultations with either myself or other practitioners. And one of the things that we offer is for people who are scheduling consultations is we can make custom tinctures for you that are isolates of things that we're putting in our future products or things that we have now, like glutathione or B12 or D. So if you want just glutathione by itself, in fact, we're sending out a package today to a lady, her husband has Parkinson's, And instead of getting the glutathione IVs now, they want to take just our glutathione isolate. So it's literally in the same type of bottle, looks just like this. But instead of having glutathione B12 and D3 in it, it's just glutathione. And the reason for doing that is because we can put more glutathione in the bottle because we don't have the B12 and the D3 in there, right? So that's something you can do. And by the way, we can do all kinds of things. We just don't mass produce it yet. And that's why we only do it for people who are, scheduling consultations and for specific health issues that they have, because it does cost more since we're not mass producing it right now. We will eventually, but it's right now you have to get those custom isolates through consultations with the PMA, but we can do glutathione, B12, D3, NMN, NAD+, huperzine A, melatonin, resveratrol, kava. I got the kava one from that was inspired by the shaman plant medicine and it's powerful, and nano-sized kava, and we can get that for you too. All kinds of stuff we're doing, and of course, as you can imagine, we try to package as much of it as we can into one bottle. So we'll combine things to make it more affordable for people to get more stuff. Because if you bought all these bottles separately, to get all this stuff, it would cost you thousands of dollars a month, right? Now, I figured out right away that the glutathione, B12, and D3 work synergistically together, literally like the Holy Trinity. And in my mind, out of all of the nutrients you can take in a supplement, that is the Holy Trinity. Is glutathione, B12, and D3, but nano size, because number one, glutathione gets destroyed in the stomach acid. You can't just swallow it. Has to go in the bloodstream. So there's that with the glutathione, but then the B12 and the D3, what they do together synergistically with each other, and then with the glutathione, then also recycling other antioxidants in your body. It's a powerhouse of a supplement and what it does for your body. We literally could spend, we could probably do a show for a month straight every single day, 5 hours a day, and still never get through all the things. If we want to talk about all the technical details of what it does, still wouldn't get through all of it.
That is absolutely amazing, man. And I'm really excited about some of the stuff you're developing and coming out with this year.
We got nano-sized essential oils coming in a couple of years too.
That's unbelievable.
So there's going to be all the essential oil companies out there are going to hate us because we're going to be the only ones nano-sizing the essential oils.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Does anyone else know how to do this kind of thing? Like nano-sizing?
You can count on one hand. There's less actually than what you can count on one hand of the labs in the world that have the capability of doing what we're doing. And most of them are actually overseas and only work under strict governmental regulations for pharmaceutical products. So we have the advantage here in the US of having this technology in our lab, doing things that are kept highly secretive, working under strict patents and governmental contracts and big corporate contracts that are used pretty much just for the pharmaceutical industry.
Absolutely. Well, this is fantastic, Ethan. I love hearing about this stuff. Do you have anything you want to say, final words that you want to say, or anything you want to comment about before we break up here?
I don't think so. Not that we really covered. I mean, if anybody that's watching this hasn't seen, the other video you did showing your progress on your arm, using the skin, was it mostly the skin that you are attributing that to?
It is.
I mean, I know you're taking.
This is progress, and you can see it's really working. See how the skin is starting to turn the same color as here.
Yeah, it's almost gone now.
Solid red. This was all, and as you saw,
it was big too. Yeah,
man, it was my whole arm, and yes, it's. Like I said, I've never tried anything in 30 plus years with having this that worked, and this stuff worked. I mean, that's why I asked you earlier.
Yeah.
What exactly is this glutathione doing at the biological level? Because nothing has been able to do this in 30 years. So.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that it does. And what I would recommend, if you go on Syrona.org, that's SYRONA.org, and then you click on See the Science on our homepage, that'll take you to another page, and then you can click a button there that says See the PubMed Studies, right? You click on that, it takes you to the page for all the PubMed studies on glutathione, which, by the way, now there's over 192,000 studies on glutathione. They're documented on PubMed. It's literally the God particle in the body because it does so many amazing things, and without it, the body dies. Glutathione actually protects the telomeres in your body. And if you run out of telomeres, you die, right?
Trouble. Yeah.
So You know,
That's
that's how important glutathione is. And I don't know exactly. I can't say precisely how or why it's taking care of your skin condition the way it is,
yeah,
but I can tell you this, everything in it is all nano-sized. It could be a combination of all the things in it, the glutathione, the resveratrol, the B5, the B3,
probably is.
you know, hyaluronic acid, collagen, any of those things, or maybe just one or two of them. I don't know, because again, we didn't design it to do anything specific other than to just give the skin the most vital nutrients that it needs to be as young and healthy as possible that we're aware of at this point.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic. And your
that's what
website's beautiful, dude. Hats off to you, bro. You've built
thanks.
an incredible website. The website is it's easy to navigate. It's
Yeah.
beautiful to look at. You've done an exceptional
Well,
job,
it's
man.
getting even better actually, because the same company that designed the website, back office, and the phone app for the essential oils company called Young Living. I know you've heard,
Yeah.
everybody's heard of them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
same software company that's developed their website and their back office and all their tracking software. We are about a month and a half right now away from launching. They built the same thing for us. It's almost completed. So it's going to get even better. We're literally going to have the best of the best of websites,
Yeah.
back offices, tracking software, and phone apps, or you know, iPad app, or whatever you use your apps on. But we're going to have the best of the best out there. So not only do we have the best products, but we're about to have the Ferrari of all websites and apps too.
Ethan, can I just take a moment and say thank you, man, for all this, man. Thank you
Well,
so much for helping people, for having this incredible motivation to just heal, to just help and be an
yeah,
assisting hand, you know, man. And I so rarely meet people that are genuinely like that. I moved years ago to Washington because I wanted to be a part of the medical marijuana, medical cannabis industry. And I
mhm.
really wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to be a force in that. And I found when I got into it, it was filled with criminals. It was
Oh
filled
yeah.
with people that had
Well, you
no
know, we forgot
intention
to
of
talk about
helping
that.
anybody.
We forgot to talk about that.
Yeah,
Our nano-sized
CBD.
cannabis,
Yeah,
CBD. Yeah,
yeah,
it's all the flavonoids, terpenes, and cannabinoids in it. There's no THC in it, so you're not going to fail a drug test, but
right.
it's super potent, super powerful. So
And I've
yeah,
been using it on the skin also. Yeah, absolutely. But man, thank you again. You really are a man after my own heart, because you truly want to help people. And that's really
yes.
why I'm here, man. I just
Well,
love
and that's why
talking
we
to
made
people.
this company a nonprofit, not just a PMA, but a nonprofit. So the whole thing's built on pay it forward. That way, you know, the company doesn't have to make any money. Obviously, we have to make a certain amount to cover
Sure,
operating expenses and overhead and all that stuff.
sure.
But because we're not, you know, trying to rake in extra to pay a board of
Yeah,
executives and investors and the company itself, all of that money gets put back into the research, back into the company, back into the PMA, and it goes around as revenue sharing with the PMA members. If you want to become an affiliate member in the PMA and build a business with it, you'll get very handsome payouts for sharing it, because again, the company doesn't need to make profits. All the profits stay in the actual company
yeah.
and with the members.
You're a good man, Ethan. Thank you, sir.